Bên kia nếu có những người cao cấp nào đó mà nghĩ rằng có thể có những cái giải pháp chính trị thì đó chỉ là một cái ảo mộng, mà một cái mong mỏi cuối cùng trước khi là bị chết. Thế thôi, cho nên do đó cho nên chắc chắn là cả miền Bắc, cả miền Nam, cả quân đội chúng tôi đều không nghĩ tới một cái giải pháp chính trị nữa, mà chỉ nghĩ tới cái lúc đó là thắng lợi toàn bộ, thắng lợi hoàn toàn.
As newly installed President Min left his palace, a young fighter pilot was preparing for takeoff from behind communist lines. 3 weeks earlier, Nguyen Thanh Trung, who had been trained in Texas, had defected from South Vietnam's Air Force and flown his plane into a communist-held airbase. He began teaching North Vietnamese pilots how to fly captured American-built aircraft left behind by the retreating Southern Army. Flying A-37 bombers, their first target would be Saigon's Tan Son Nhut Airport.
We think that when we bomb the Tan Son Nhut, the American will think that Tan Son Nhut is not safe now, and we want to give them a signal that let's go, hurry, let's go. Do not stay anymore. You are not safe now. If you still live here, you cannot save your people. We took up at 5 o'clock, and these pilots, they don't know where Saigon is. From take-off time until we get to this region, nobody talking in the radio. They just follow me. I get to Saigon, and at that time, every when Saigon is raining, except Tan Son Nhut area, not raining.
Some A-37 jets came roaring over, and I looked up and noticed them, and everybody kind of cast their eyes up, but then we figured, well, the North Vietnamese don't have an air force, they're ours.
We hear in the radio voice, the American voice asks us where and what squadron you come from. What you doing now?
And all of a sudden, huge explosions right across the street on the flight line of Tan Son Nhut erupted with big black clouds of smoke, and the detonations were palpable. Things vibrated, and this immediately caused people to begin to panic.
We have ordered from the top that we only bomb the parking base, not runway. We want to leave the runways still safe for American. If they want to go, they can go.
They were giving us a message that the time had come. We'd better pack up and leave, and fast.
The airplane sits in a museum. The tires are flat and the guns are rusting. It is an American-made F-5E. The faded U.S. markings are still visible. When the United States pulled out of Vietnam, this airplane was left behind for the South Vietnamese Air Force. Its final mission? The presidential palace in Saigon.
I think that if they bomb the ballots, I can make the war stop sooner.
Nguyen Thanh Trung is now a pilot for Air Vietnam, but on April 8, 1975, he made 2 bombing runs on the presidential palace. The first landed in the yard. The second was a direct hit. It was a startling development, a South Vietnamese fighter pilot launching a strike against his own government.
This wasn't a last-minute decision. You've been planning this for a long time. How long?
I have to say with you that I planned it for very long time, many years before. When I still in the student, still in school.
He trained for 2 years, 1969 to 1971, in the United States to be a pilot. But his opposition to the war, he says, caused him to switch sides. Recruited secretly by the Viet Cong to carry out their mission. After the bombing, he landed at a VC airstrip in the jungle and received a hero's welcome. Then he was promoted to colonel in the North Vietnamese Air Force. His family was not so lucky. There was no escape for them after the palace was bombed.
My wife and 2 of my daughters go to jail after the bombing in the palace until 30 April.
Did you know when you made the decision that Your family left behind. They're going to come. You
Yes,
knew
I
they'd
know.
come.
I know. I know. And I think about it. But there's no way to join. When I want to do something, you have to lose something.
The bombing of the presidential palace, while not a serious military event, did have a psychological impact. There were already serious divisions within the South Vietnamese government. The bombing created even more suspicions. President Nguyen Van Thieu and Vice President Nguyen Cao Ky were already at odds over how the war was being waged. On the day of the palace bombing, no aircraft were launched to intercept.
And when the aircraft bomb in the palace, Thieu think that it's this aircraft that sent from the Key side to bomb in him and want to took him up.
By presidential order, all South Vietnamese planes in the air were ordered to land, and all those on the ground were ordered to stay there. Nguyen Tran Trung made his escape. While he says he wasn't a communist or a Viet Cong, he did train other pilots for a mission to bomb Tan Son Nhut Air Base on April 28th. That raid broke the back of the South Vietnamese government, and the mass exodus from Saigon was underway. Tom Mintier, CNN, Ho Chi Minh City.